You're watching the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters two-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, where Bubba wants you to know we're having a lot of fun. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. La Valley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Good evening and welcome to White River Junction, Vermont for tonight's high school football matchup between the Rutland Raiders and the Hartford Hurricanes. Hello everyone, I'm Jeremy Stowe, joined by Scott Quimby, and tonight it's senior night here for the Hartford Hurricanes as they host the Rutland Raiders. Both teams not quite going to the playoffs, but the Rutland Raiders, they look like they're in. They're 5-2. Hartford needs a win. They sit at 3-4. It's going to be a tough matchup. This Rutland team is really good. They put up a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, they sit 5-2 right now. And a win here against a good team here in Hartford is going to really give them some momentum going into the playoffs. And if you look at their points this season, they're putting up points on the board offensively, led by Owen Perry. He plays quarterback for the Rutland Raiders, and he kind of anchors this offense. We can't look away from Malik Hendrickson at receiver and Hunter Postorensky, their running back. Well-rounded unit, talent at all the skill positions, good offense.
Yeah, very good team. The only two teams they've lost to, Middlebury and St. Johnsbury, also have beaten the Hartford Hurricanes, and we've seen a couple Hurricanes games. One was that Middlebury game, and then a couple weeks ago with the win over Burlington, South Burlington. What should we watch for on senior night from the Hurricanes?
Well, they're coming off a tough loss last week. I think they lost 55-8. They need to get that offense rolling. I mean, they've been hit and miss so far this year. They sit 3-4, kind of borderline playoff team at this point in time. Certainly a lot of talent, though. They're, as we've mentioned in previous broadcasts, short on seniors, and it is senior day here, so we're not going to see too many get sent off. Their quarterback's actually a junior. Cole Jasmine kind of leads the team, big kid. You'll see him out there, number 13. Strong arm kid. Zachary Burek is a very good running back, powerful kid, a lot of speed. We saw a big breakaway touchdown from here against Middlebury. And Kyle Hamilton, their tight end senior, look for him to have a good game. Last home game of the year. Would be a nice send-off for him.
And hopefully for these Hurricanes, it's not the last game of the year. If they win, they're in the playoffs starting next week. We have an exciting one coming to you from White River Junction, Vermont. It's the Raiders and the Hurricanes, the YCN Game of the Week. Good evening and welcome back. Senior night here in White River Junction, where the Hartford Hurricanes take on the Rutland Raiders. Hurricanes with the kickoff first, and the pooch kick is out of bounds, and the Raiders will take over at the 42. And that's where this offense will take over. Scott, we talked about that in the pregame. This Rutland Raider offense, that's pretty much the key to this game. This offense can put up some points.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Hartford to slow down. They're certainly not a bad offense, Hartford, but they're a run-first offense, so if they get behind early, it's going to be tough for them to keep up. So they need to come out quick, strong, and see if they can maybe hold this tough Rutland Raider offense to minimal points.
Yeah, and you mentioned it in the pregame. It's been an up and down season for the Hurricanes, obviously sitting at 3-4 as we talked about, fighting for their playoff lives as the quarterback is hit as he throws. That hit was pretty high up in the face mask, but no penalty.
It didn't look like he came down with his hands. He kind of ran into him with the hands still high, like he was trying to block the pass. I think that's why the refs let it go, but good pressure there for Hartford, and clearly affected the pass, which was way overthrown.
So the Raiders with the ball at the 47-yard line. They pick it up after the 5-yard penalty, kickoff out of bounds. And running forward to the 49, maybe picking up 2 yards or so, it looks like, is the running back. And I believe that's number 34 on the carry.
Quickly, Hartford forcing a 3rd and long here. This would be a great way to start the game after deferring the kickoff.
And the catch made, and falling forward past the first down marker is the ball carrier and the receiver on the end of that pass, Garrett Devine, the tight end, and he gets the first down, so big 3rd down conversion right off the bat for the Raiders.
We mentioned Owen Perry in the opening, and he fired a dart right there to Garrett Devine.
And Postemski running it up the gut, tackled maybe a yard. Looks like they'll mark the ball at the 41-yard line of the Hurricanes as the Rutland Raiders come into this one. As we mentioned at the opening, 5-2. They are squarely in the playoffs. Hartford needs this one, and that ball's overthrown, incomplete. So this Rutland Raider team, they seem to mix it up pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen a lot of high school games, and last week the Guilford-Belmont team, they mixed it up, and this team looks to do the same so far.
Yeah, Guilford had a full-on aerial assault there at certain points of that game, and clearly it's definitely a part of this Rutland offense to throw the ball and keep the defense guessing, and
As we see Postemski there catching it out of the backfield, and they do not convert the 3rd down, but it's 4th, and looks like maybe about 6 yards to go, and
this is
go for it.
It's a very fast-moving offense here for Rutland.
And turnover on downs. The pass is incomplete. And as you mentioned, yeah, this offense just gets right up to the line of scrimmage. It's not really a no-huddle offense, but they clearly work quickly.
They're not wasting any time at the line of scrimmage, standing around, letting the clock tick down. I mean, there was, 6 plays there, and it only took a minute and a half off the clock. So they were out there in a hurry, trying to keep that defense moving and tired.
So they turn it over, and we'll get our first look at the Hartford Hurricane defense starting from their own 38-yard line. As we mentioned, the junior quarterback Cole Jasmine under center, the direct snap, and then the handoff reverse to Jacob Dwinnell, and he is tackled well behind the line of scrimmage. So Dwinnell tackled, might be 10 yards back. It depends where they spot the ball.
As you mentioned, Hartford sits 3-4. They've had some weeks where they look like their old selves. Been a perennial title contender for years now. Obviously, with the roster turnover, they're not quite that this year, but they show signs of it. They've also had some games where they've just completely fallen flat. So let's see how this offense comes out firing today.
And the pitch there, this time rushing to the outside, number 22, Cole Shambo gets the carry, and he gets back to maybe that line of scrimmage there, and that'll bring up 3rd down. And we mentioned the Middlebury game that we saw here, where they basically held Middlebury Tigers in check for 3.5 quarters, maybe 3 quarters, and then they had the injury. I believe that injury, right off the top of my head, I think it was Zachary Burek, who was on the defensive side, and once he left the game, Middlebury kind of took over, and he's back and he's healthy, but as you mentioned, they don't have a lot of depth. They do have some talent on the front lines, but their 2nd and 3rd strings kind of leave a little bit to be desired.
I mean, that's what happens when you only have, I think, 5 seniors. It's mostly sophomores and juniors. Not going to have a lot of depth on your roster.
As we see Cole Jasmine there, completed, but back maybe to about 3rd and 20, or 4th and 20, excuse me.
Those 3 plays, I don't think Hartford had a positive play there. They just looked like they were overpowered at the line of scrimmage right there by Rutland, so they're going to have to try to mix something up here, and I don't know.
Yeah, that first
That's a
play.
strong defensive line for Rutland.
Yeah, that first play goes for a 9-yard loss and no gain, and then a yard loss there. So that'll bring up 4th and long and punt formation here for the Hurricanes. And back to return at his own 40 is the return man for the Raiders, number 17. That's Jack Coughlin. He'll let it go. It'll roll to about the 38-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will take over. No score, 8-12 to play in the first quarter. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Award-winning YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, as the Hurricanes punted away, and now the Raiders will take over at their own 38 and running right into the line there. QB keeper going nowhere was Perry.
He tried to do a play action to his running back, I think, or maybe a fake. It looked like they ran into each other in the backfield, so there's some little miscommunication going on there, and anytime you have a big slowdown in the backfield like that, it's going to kill things up front.
Offensive line couldn't hold the blocks long enough, and this time it'll be a pass, and a little bit high, but able to come down with it is the receiver, number 18, Hendrickson, and he's immediately wrapped up. They're saying it's a fumble on the field, and Hartford's saying they have it. And they'll say it's going to stay Rutland football, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Fortunate break there for Rutland. Malik Henderson, very physical runner, was really trying to fight for every yard he could. Sometimes when you do that, you expose the football. And it looked like it was knocked loose, but Rutland was able to fall on it and keep possession here.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Mascoma Savings Bank, mutually owned with no shareholders to please. If you want your local game, event, parade, or concert televised into YCN's over 300,000 households, contact us at info@ycnnow.com. A big gainer there for the Raiders, and finally some big positive momentum for this Rutland team.
Yeah, Perry just fired a bullet in there to Noel, who ran a nice route. It was kind of a delayed slant, and here you go, running right back up to the line of scrimmage. This team is just not messing around.
And they run it right into the line of scrimmage, so the play calling there kind of goes back to up the middle, not a creative play. Postemski into the offensive line. The YCN scoreboard sponsor is La Valley Building Supply. Home improvement and construction from concept to completion. Our next YCN game features the Cougars of Kearsarge hosting the Hilltoppers of Somersworth. And that run again, Postemski up the middle. Again, no gain, maybe loses a yard back to the original line of scrimmage. And again, 3rd and long for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, basically Rutland's success so far has been through the air. Hartford's doing a very nice job up front, shutting the run down of Potemski. And that's going to be a big factor here, really slow down this high-speed attack.
And there's Perry overthrowing his receiver. He had a man. He might have had a step on the defender, Matt Noel, the senior wide receiver. And that'll bring up 4th down, 4th and 10. We've already seen them go for it once on 4th down in this same vicinity. Didn't pick it up, turned it over on downs, and see what they can do here.
Yeah, it was a little shorter yardage situation. I think it was 4th and 5 last time, but I don't see any way they go for a punt here.
So they'll line up as if they are going for it with Perry in the shotgun. And he is immediately hit by the defender coming on the blitz. That's number 25, Zachary Burek.
Burek's the one you mentioned last game against Middlebury. He was kind of the key defensive player, and when they lost him, they really slowed down. That was just a perfectly timed blitz by him. Good defensive call by the coaching staff for Hartford, and huge stop.
So that'll bring up 1st down for the Hurricanes.
That not only works as a 4th down stop, but, I mean, he lost 8 yards on the play,
right,
too, so you're moving the ball downfield a little bit with your defense.
Right before you even get it, you'll start with it at the 38-yard line after that nice defensive play. Jasmine coming in, he'll be under center. And the handoff this time to Burek, the inside run off tackle. And gains a couple, 1st down and looks like 2nd down and 8. For over 11 years, Bubba's Bar and Grill has been providing hungry patrons with high-quality food and friendly service with a mission of delivering a remarkable experience to every visitor. Bubba's reminds you, we're having a lot of fun. So 2nd down and 8. Quick moving first quarter, inside 5.5 minutes. This is Hartford's 2nd possession. They punted on their first. Rutland turning it over on downs both times they've had the ball. And the pitch this side, not really going to go too far, but he is able to muscle forward for maybe 4 yards, and that'll bring up a third down and about 5. Maybe 3rd and 4 where they spot it.
It's 5 offensive plays now for Hartford. That was their longest play at 5 yards. A lot of little chunk plays here, but no big gains moving the ball downfield here.
And last time they were in 3rd and long, they really didn't do anything and ended up punting. Now see if they can get this 3rd and manageable as we sit here. 3rd and 4 from the 44. Jasmine under in the shotgun. And the inside handoff, running to the outside, and he is going to get the first down, and that's Cole Shambo. Nice run there for the Hurricanes.
Key broken tackle. He was tied up about 2 yards short around his ankles, and he was able to shake free and get another 4 yards to get that first down. Tough run in there for Shambo.
So a nice 3rd down conversion. Ball on the Rutland side of the field for the first time tonight for the Hurricanes at the 47-yard line, and Jasmine under center. He's calling plays. Another handoff. Ball is on the field, and the Raiders will pick it up as Shambo fumbles it. Recovered by the Raiders. I didn't get their ball recover, but the Raiders will take over at the 39-yard line with 4:02 to play. No score in the first quarter. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. And as we come back from the break, the Raiders running that ball up the middle, going nowhere. And Scott, that offensive line is just really getting no push whatsoever.
No, I mean, the passing game, they've had a few decent pass protections, but as far as their running game goes, they're not going anywhere right now.
So we'll see if Rutland can take advantage of the turnover.
It's a lot of the same players on the offensive and defensive lines. It seems like Rutland's winning on their defensive side, and Hartford's winning on their defensive side so far. So kind of a stalemate in the run game.
Yeah, these coaches are going to have to get into their playbook and flip that page, because right now the run game has not worked really for either team. And that'll bring up 3rd and long. Looks like about 3rd and 9 as we approach 3 minutes to play in quarter number 1. Harry's going to look deep. He's got a man, and it's complete across the 50 at the 48-yard line of the Hurricanes, and a first down for the Raiders.
Yeah, a little roll out in the pocket to the right side, and he had a lot of time to fire that one in there. And Owen Perry's shown when he's got some time, he can be very accurate with those intermediate routes.
So another inside handoff and another gain of nothing. Postemski maybe gets a half a yard, maybe a yard where they spot it, but Rutland will hurry back to the line, and they're going to go right back to Postemski. Postemski, nothing there, maybe a yard or two. Flag on the near side here. Clock will stop, 2:39. That hasn't happened too often so far. Both these teams running the ball.
Moving. Rutland seems very determined to get as many plays in as they can offensively, and they're moving very fast. Like you said, it's not necessarily a no huddle, but they get into the huddle, call the play immediately, and basically run up to the line of scrimmage and snap it.
So a false start there will bump the Raiders back 5 yards. That'll bring up 2nd down and 15, maybe 14 where it's spotted. And 2:30 to play here in quarter number 1. Receiver catches it, but immediately tackled by 3 Hurricane defenders. And that's going to be basically maybe a gain of a yard. Another 3rd and long. It looks like 3rd and 13 at the 50.
We're going to see a lot of that. Owen Perry to Malik Henderson today. Hendrickson, a senior. Perry, a senior. A couple kids that have probably played with each other for a bit. Seem to have some chemistry.
3rd and 13. Perry looking deep. He's got a man, but just overthrows his receiver. That was number 18, Malik Hendrickson, again, intended receiver, and it looks like now the Rutland Raiders will turn it over and punt it after going for it on their last 2 possessions.
Yeah, they kind of have to in this situation. The ball at midfield, they got 13 yards to go for a first down. You're kind of stuck. You got to punt here if you turn the ball over. I mean, it's been a field possession game so far, so there's no reason to risk losing the ball here.
So the return man standing at about the 15-yard line for the Hurricanes. A nice boot. Caught at the 10, really no room, but he's able to scamper forward maybe 5 yards. And that's where the Hurricanes will take over at the 15-yard line. Still no score, 1:42 to go in quarter number 1. You're watching the award-winning YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. 1:42 remaining in the first quarter. The Hurricanes will take over after a punt and a fumble. Their third drive here, starting in deep in their own territory. A nice little run forward, maybe 4 yards. So now, Scott, if you're the Hurricanes, you're starting deep and you really haven't shown much ability to move the football. You're going to start moving it a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't thrown a single pass yet. It's been all runs, which is not surprising for a Hartford game plan. I mean, that's something that we've seen a lot. At least the game that I called earlier this year, it was almost entirely run. So they're going to have to try something, though, if this Rutland defense continues to stand tough. I mean, they've been getting to them quickly, and looks like they do again here, even though he fights forward for a few extra yards.
Yeah, I mean, he did the fake handoff, then on the comeback there, inside kind of a counter, and he gets to about third and 2.5, but you're right, here's the time where you've got to pick this up or you're going to be punting from deep in your own end. Stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat Player of the Game. We will choose the team member that had the greatest impact on today's game. So this should do it for the first quarter, last play, as we approach 20 seconds to play. And Jasmine calling for the man in motion. He's going to stay under center. Empty backfield. They kind of give it to the jet sweep coming across, and Shambo goes nowhere, and that's going to bring up another fourth down. This should do it for quarter number 1. The Hurricanes will have a 4th down and 3 coming up to start the second quarter. No score here in White River Junction. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. You're watching the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters 2-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, where Bubba wants you to know we're having a lot of fun. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. HR Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. La Valley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Welcome back. Second quarter here about to get underway. No score so far in quarter number 1. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, Hurricanes and the Raiders. Punt is away. A nice punt, fielded at the 48-yard line and then falling down. The referee will say the return knee touched the ground, and Jack Coughlin would like to have that one back.
Yeah, that's a tough break. He had some room to get some yardage there, and it turns out Rutland punted from about the 50 last time, and now they get the ball right back at the 50. So the field possession game, they didn't really make any gains there, so they had a chance to with a return, just an unfortunate slip. I'm sure the field's a little bit damp tonight with a nice cold air.
Yeah, a lot of rain over the past couple days, and, this is the last game of the regular season, so you've had a long season playing on this field, right around midfield, not going to get a lot of good footing. So they'll take over at the 49-yard line, and Postemski immediately hit in the backfield, losing a yard or two. They'll mark it off at the 50, so it'll be a loss of 1 and brings up 2nd and 11.
Impressive start here for both defensive lines. I mean, they're getting penetration in the run game there, and the running back's getting hit before he can even get to the line of scrimmage. That's usually a recipe for disaster. And even here on the pass play.
Right, even on the pass play, he's wide open. The catch by Hendricks, and then 3 Hurricane defenders swarm him, and it's maybe they're going to put him back at maybe a half a yard loss, just a little bit over the 50 on the Raiders side of the 50, but 3rd and long.
Based on records and like opponents, I would give the advantage here to Rutland, but
that ball is just overthrown. Maybe could have come up with it, but you're right, a good defensive play.
Rutland plays so fast I can't get my point out. What I was going to say is, you'd give the advantage to Rutland on paper, but certainly with senior day here, last game of the season for Hartford, it's been a tough year. They're coming out pretty amped on defense, and they're flying around, a lot of good gang tackling, and they force another punt here.
So that drive started basically to start the second quarter, and it took 1 minute and 5 seconds, and now they're punting it away already. And it looked like maybe it was going to be a fake punt for a second. This one goes off the side of the foot, ends up in the stands, and the referee is marching up the sidelines. This ball will be spotted at the Hurricane 45-yard line, so it's going to be a net of about 5.5 yards.
That is not a good punt. It was a design where he tried to roll out and kind of run up to the line of scrimmage while he punted it. I'm not really sure why. You don't need to get that cute with punting in, especially when you're punting from the 50, but 5.5 yard punt, not good in a field position game. And,
right.
And now you got Hartford starting right around midfield.
So the Hurricanes started their first drive of the second quarter at the 45-yard line. See what they can do, as we've got a little QB keeper. And that's going to be a name we haven't called. Number 9 on your program, Kyle Hamilton, the senior tight end. And honored earlier as senior night, caught a touchdown pass last time we were here when they were playing Burlington, South Burlington. And there he gets the run and gains 6 yards.
Yeah, Hamilton's a big, strong kid, so it's you got to find ways to get the ball in his hands. You're not a pass team; he's a tight end, so sometimes you got to get clever and find ways to manufacture some plays for the kid.
He certainly did there. So that'll bring up 2nd down and a short 4, all at the 49-yard line of the Raiders. This time Hamilton hands it off, so they're keeping Hamilton in the game as quarterback, and the handoff to number 25, Burek, and he gets the first down. So a nice first down. Hurricanes take advantage of the good field position.
They might have been the 2 biggest plays for their offense so far, too, with the good field position. So this is a big momentum swing here in this game. Tight defensive game, but the field position's been completely flipped.
Now you got to imagine if the Hurricanes can get half a dozen yards here, it'll be 4-down territory if they need to the rest of this drive. As the handoff goes to the inside, that's number 25, Burek again, and before he's pushed backwards, he gains maybe 3 yards. Where they're spotting it. Maybe a couple of yards, so 2nd down and 8 inside 10 minutes here in the first quarter.
The tackles in this game have not been soft, and that was Ethan Course on that tackle. He really stood up Burek and pushed him back.
So 2nd down and 8, and we continue to have Hamilton in the shotgun. Cole Jasmine standing on the sideline. He doesn't look hurt. They're just letting Hamilton get some looks, and that handoff to Alex Bushway, I believe. Cole Shambo, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little interesting to just kind of switch quarterbacks like that, but the thing is, they're not throwing with their quarterbacks. They're essentially glorified running backs who occasionally hand the ball off. So it makes it a little easier, too. I mean, it's not like the quarterback's getting into a rhythm throwing the ball or anything like that. So they're a little more interchangeable in that sense. And, certainly Kyle Hamilton's getting some good momentum going here for this offense.
So he'll keep it this time and run it up the middle on 3rd and 3. He got it to about the 35-yard line before he's pushed back. I believe they'll spot it right at the 30. That's going to be short of the first down, the 35. He'll still be short of the first down, maybe a half a yard short, maybe a yard short, but nonetheless, fourth down.
Certainly going for it here, fourth and very short. They got it down to the 35, and they're clearly their best drive, and they seem to have something going here with Hamilton. So, and now we got Jasmine back in, so mixing it up.
So Jasmine back in. He'll go under center. He'll take the QB sneak in a big hole over the gap, and he takes the first down, and it'll be a third first down of the night. Second on this drive. Hurricanes move the chains. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Ramontos in Claremont. Always fresh, always delicious. In addition to airing on our 3 TV stations, all YCN games are posted at ycnnow.com. Clock moving here as we approach 8 minutes to play in quarter number 2. Hamilton back in. He's going to keep it himself. And maybe he'll gain a few yards. Big guy who is able to move that pile. He'll spot the ball at the 31-yard line. So about a 3-yard gain. Second down and about 7.
They haven't even made it look like they're going to pass here so far. I mean, it is run, run, run. We haven't even seen a draw, nothing. It's just straight-up power runs for this Hartford team.
And they'll continue to do that by the looks of things as Hamilton takes it and the fake pitch and then gives it to the running back who beats a couple of tackles, and he gets the first down carrying a couple defenders inside the red zone. First down, Hurricanes.
Yeah, that was a brilliantly designed play. That fake pitch really threw this Rutland defense off, and then the draw up the middle created a big hole.
And it was perfect timing because a split second later, and he's tackled in the backfield. Hamilton might be, and a little too early. They're tackled at the line of scrimmage, but the defense had just kind of penetrated a little too far, and they couldn't catch up to the ball carrier. So a first down here inside the 20-yard line. 7 minutes to play before halftime. Hamilton again with the carry. So maybe they found a wrinkle. Coach Matt Trombley trying to come up with something to negate this good defensive line of the Raiders.
Hamilton clearly is a very big, powerful kid, and he can, take a hit and seem to fall forward every time at the very least, which at least is giving him positive yardage on first down every time. You're not looking at 2nd and 11 like they were earlier. So, here we go, 2nd and 6. Another run here, and you're looking at a very manageable third down. It's probably in 4-down territory anyway.
Keep those successful plays going, and this one again, the handoff. Off to the left side and immediately tackled, but Burek gains a few yards, and like you said, that'll bring up third and manageable, maybe 3 yards.
With Hamilton running the ball as much as he is too, when they do actually hand it off, it almost surprises the defense. It's really got them on their heels. You didn't see Cole Jasmine running the ball when he was in there. It was mostly just handoffs every time, so it certainly makes the defense think a little more.
So we'll bring up third down and 3. Halfway through quarter number 2. No score here. As running onto the field is the last receiver for the Hurricanes. And before the delay of game penalty is called, the Hurricanes take a timeout. We'll step aside as well. 5:39 to play in the second quarter. No score. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. No score here in the second quarter. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Echo Communications. Call them for all your printing needs. Our YCN Game next week features the Cougars of Kearsarge hosting the Hilltoppers of Somersworth, always premiering Sundays at noon. Coming up with a big third down and 3. Hamilton in again at quarterback, and the handoff there, breaking free, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Hurricane Zachary Burek.
Excellent drive there by Hartford from start to finish. They really found something, bringing in Kyle Hamilton, mixing up the run plays, getting creative. That nice play with the fake pitch. Fantastic job by Hartford, and huge getting on the board first here at their big senior day game.
So the touchdown run of 13 yards, Zachary Burek, and the Hurricanes will kick the extra point. Kobe Peach, the kicker. Ball is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. So 7-0 Hurricanes on the board first. They lead it over the Raiders of Rutland. 5:33 to play before halftime. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, and Scott, good little drive there. Hurricanes take advantage of the field position and break through for the first score.
Yeah, that 5.5-yard punt really set them up nicely around midfield. That kind of flipped the field position, and then they were able to string together a few first downs with just the power run game.
Yeah, picking up a couple nice first downs, and then there on that 3rd and 3 out of the timeout, Burek just able to get the touchdown. And so now the Hurricanes will kick it off, and it'll be returned from the 21-yard line. Raider return man, he breaks it up the middle, and he's got one man to beat. He's got nobody in front of him, and the Raiders on the board with the touchdown, number 30, Ethan Course. Extra point away from tying this one up, 79-yard kickoff return.
Well, that's one way to answer, Jeremy. Ethan Course, who had a nice defensive play earlier in the game, shows up in the return game, just busting one right up the middle. Barely touched on the play, just outran him.
So he took that ball and he ran it back right up the middle. I don't know if the Hurricane special teams were fooled or expected him to go down, but they really didn't give much of an effort. And then the kicker tried to catch him, couldn't do it, and he was off to the races. Left-footed kicker here.
He wasn't the back returner either. He was up on the play. It didn't get to the actual return man, and Ethan Course made him pay, and now we got a tied game, 7-7.
So they answer there, the Raiders do, with the 79-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. 7-7 our score, 5:21 to play before half. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Tie game here in White River Junction, where the Raiders have just tied it up. 79-yard kickoff return.
The last 20 seconds of this game have really changed the outcome. All of a sudden, it's 7-7.
Now we'll see if the Hurricanes can answer with 5:21 to play in the second quarter. Kickoff is short, and it is picked up at the 17-yard line. Looked like it might have gone out of bounds, but the return man, Shambo, picks it up, and he gets to the 30, and that's where the Hurricanes will take over.
Yeah, tough call for the returner, Shambo, there. I mean, if you do let it go and it doesn't go out of bounds, you're in serious trouble. I mean,
right.
The kicking team could even recover it, which would just be disastrous. It's better to make the safe play, pick it up, and I mean, they're starting at the 30, which is definitely not detrimental to them, so
we'll see what they do here.
It's better than some other possible alternatives.
This game is being brought to you by Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team and so much more. Top Stitch works with businesses and schools, marketing with custom t-shirts and embroidery for more than 20 years. And Hamilton still the quarterback as he muscles forward for a tough couple of yards.
I mean, he had no business getting positive yardage there, period. I mean, he's just so big and strong. He fought off 2 tacklers in the backfield and still wrestled his way for 2-3 yards.
So going back to the huddle, the Raiders, even though they don't run the no huddle, they do kind of run that form of hurry up. The Hurricanes, on the other hand, are kind of not the polar opposite. They're not deliberate, but they take their time, and then they won't rush things. They won't slow things down. It's more deliberate.
And it's all run plays, so the clock never stops for them. So they can really chew up some game clock, this Hartford team.
Until we get the penalty there, and that will stop the clock. 4:32 to play. You got to imagine that's going to be a false start against the Hurricanes, and it is. So that'll knock them back 5 yards and bring up 2nd down and 13 to go.
Rutland has played pretty well defensively so far. They struggled a little last drive. They had a couple gains. You wonder, though, at what point they just don't even defend the pass and just start playing the run. I mean, it's clearly going to be a run attack here for Hartford. And you can see him starting to creep up further and further.
So the handoff up the middle, shaking a few tacklers. And a nice little run there. Shea Bean on the carry.
Go off the penalty back plus a yard, and at least makes it a 3rd and a reasonable 6 here.
We talked about the offensive prowess of this Rutland team, and clearly we haven't quite seen anything, only the special teams touchdown last week. Of course, facing a tough Middlebury team, losing 42-7, but they put up 35. They also have another 31, and then a 64 in the opening game against Champlain Valley Union. So this team scores a lot of points, haven't done so tonight.
There's a pass play and complete.
And a nice completion at that. Big first down, and that was number 34, Jacob Dwinnell, with a big catch.
And they snuck Cole Jasmine back in there to make that throw, and he fired it in there and hit his man.
So Jasmine sneaks in. They get the first down. A nice conversion there. Inside 4 minutes. Clock continuing to move. If you're the Hurricanes, you would love to milk this thing down to the half and at least get a field goal. The Hartford Hurricanes kicker is pretty legit. I mean, I haven't seen him kick too many deep field goals, but every time he kicks an extra point, he boots it through. So you got that in your back pocket if you need it.
And Hartford will be getting the ball back to start the second half.
As again, the short gain, maybe a couple yards, second down, but more importantly, clock continuing to move. Watch our Yankee Chronicle every week on this station at 8 p.m. on Saturdays. If you miss any of our local programs on our 3 YCN network stations, you can always watch the shows and games anytime on our website at ycnnow.com. So, second down and 8. Clock moving. Inside 3 minutes, Hurricanes at their own 48-yard line. Hamilton still in the game, and this time the handoff will go for negative yardage. Shambo met immediately in the backfield, and a big loss of yardage. That's going to be a loss of 4 yards, and that'll bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, that's going to really hurt this Hurricane offense. It's, like you said, 3rd and 11. They need a decent chunk play here. I think if they can get it up past midfield, they might go for it. But certainly needs something to happen here, and they're sending Cole Jasmine back in, so we'll see. Maybe they'll try another pass. It was successful last time, so.
And you got to be careful if you're Matt Trombley, because you don't want to signal every time Jasmine goes in, it's a pass play, and every time Hamilton is in, it's a run play. But you don't want to tip your hand, and hits Jasmine to Hamilton on that one, and a penalty flies after the tackle. So we'll see what the flag is for, but it was a completed catch. Nice big catch there.
Like, based on the way the Hurricanes are reacting, it's going to be on the defense.
They're going to call a pass interference on the defense. So I got to think you take the penalty and get the automatic first down rather than decline the penalty and take the yardage, because if you take the yardage, it's still 4th down. So pass interference is the call, and it will be the automatic first down. Not sure where the chain gang will stop. The ref is pacing it off, and that'll be the 15-yard variety, so all the way up to the 40-yard line of the Raiders, and 1:46 to play. That's a big penalty for the Raiders.
3rd and 11, that's a killer. It's not going to count for Kyle Hamilton, too, but that was a heck of a diving catch by him. I mean, he put him into a 4th and maybe a 1 where they could have at least gone for it anyways. So, nicely done there by Hartford.
So now Hamilton back in as quarterback. He's in the shotgun, and he's going to keep it himself after the fake handoff. And here's where the Hurricanes have got to be careful, as 1:22 to play and a timeout on the field. And the Hurricanes will come over to the sidelines to talk it over. We'll take a break. 1:22 to play, tied up at 7. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Hurricanes out of the timeout, 2nd down and 10. Jasmine back in for the Hurricanes. He's in the shotgun. Immediately looking deep, and he's got an underneath receiver. Nice catch and run. Number 22, Cole Shambo.
Shambo beat his man, and the other guy back there playing corner looked like he slipped and fell, and Shambo was able to get a lot of yards after the catch there. huge play down the sideline, stops the clock getting out of bounds. Prime real estate here for Hartford to put some points on the board before the half, and like I mentioned, they get the ball back to start the second half. So,
and it looks like they've managed it well because they're inside the 20. They've got 1:14 to play. They still do have one timeout. They used one timeout that drive and then another timeout before their other touchdown, so they should have one left, and really got the whole playbook here at Matt Trombley's disposal.
Well, Cole Jasmine's coming in, throwing the ball well here on this drive. I mean, he's been on and off with Kyle Hamilton, but they look like they found something. He's got a man.
He's got his man again in the end zone. That's Shambo with the touchdown. 19-yard touchdown reception, and the Hurricanes back on top.
Yeah, it can't be easy for Cole Jasmine to bounce in and out and then be expected to come in and march a quick end of the half drive like that through the air, but he came in and did it flawlessly. I believe he was 3 for 3 on the drive, 4 for 4 overall.
Yeah, he played nicely on that drive, and when he's been asked to do something, he's done it well. In this game, the extra point is booted through, and the touchdown, or the extra point, excuse me, for the Hurricanes makes it 14-7. So we'll see if the Hurricanes can get a little bit better on the special teams coverage. The last time they gave up the 79-yard kickoff return for the touchdown.
Yeah, the immediate answer, which, is always a killer, but it didn't seem to get Hartford down as their offense marched right back and put more points on the board. And, I'm giving a lot of credit to Cole Jasmine, deservedly so. He put those throws on the money, but Cole Shambo on both of those last two pass plays, heck of a job getting open in the secondary. And, he made it easy for his quarterback, which is always a welcome sign for any QB.
Yeah, Shambo with a nice pickup prior to the touchdown, and then he's pretty much wide open in the front corner of the end zone, as kind of camps out there, and Jasmine finds him for the touchdown, the extra point. It's 14-7. That's where we sit. Coming up at halftime, we'll have some highlights and some analysis of the first half, plus look ahead to the second half and what both of these teams need to do to take this win as they close out the regular season. Hartford needs this win if they want to get back to 500 and basically lock them and set themselves into the playoff spot. Rutland 5-2, they are locked in now, but they don't want to end the season with a road loss, so they're looking to get the win here. That kickoff's kind of a squib, and Rutland, the way they move the ball, the speed at which they move the ball, they have time, 1:05 to play, and 3
timeouts too. I mean, there's no question in my mind they have enough time to put points on the board. Nice job by Hartford there, playing it safe from the kickoff. Good squib, and he made the player on Rutland at least try to make a play on it. It went off his hands, and there was absolutely no return. So,
and the handoff, Kostemski going nowhere. If you are Rutland, you may have a good run game. You may have done this to other opponents, but this Hartford team is not letting you get anywhere. You got to start thinking about something else because this game is not working.
Well, I mean, they have tried to throw the ball with Owen Perry a few times, and he's even put some nice passes onto his receiver's hands and made some nice plays, but it's just a weird mix of plays.
And as we see that one, Perry puts it on the money, and that one's to Del Bianco.
Yeah, he's certainly a very accurate and talented quarterback, They're going to call a timeout here with 30 seconds left, and still plenty of time to move the ball down and put some points on the board. And
so with 30 seconds to go, timeout on the field. We'll take a break as well. The Hurricanes lead the Raiders 14-7. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. 30 seconds to go before halftime. The pitch there from the Rutland quarterback, Owen Perry, and the ball carrier kind of in a tough spot.
Yeah, there's
anywhere to go.
There's a shovel pass, not really a regular traditional pass play whatsoever, but there was nothing there. Hartford was all over him and tackled him as soon as he got it, which is quite unfortunate because now we got the clock stopped here with another timeout with 21.7. And the Raiders are kind of putting themselves in a tough spot here, trying to get the ball in the end zone and get points on the board.
Right, and we talked about it, how the Raiders like to keep the ball on the ground, and then they do make the nice throw and catch, but they're going to have to put a couple more of those together because we have not really seen anything. This Hurricane defense has played well. They don't give up the big play on defense. I mean, they gave up the big play on the special teams, a 79-yard kickoff return, but they did not give up any big plays on defense, and when this team is healthy, they can play very tough defense, as we've seen so far for the first 2 quarters. So 21.7 seconds to play.
With just one timeout remaining as well.
Right. And Perry's going to drop back to throw, and the receiver drops the ball, and that's going to be incomplete. Number 18, again, that was Hendrickson, who couldn't quite come up with it. Probably a good thing because he was right in the middle of the field, and he wasn't going to get a first down.
Forced their final timeout right then and there, so.
And it wasn't in that many more yards, really.
No, it would have been a 5-yard
gain,
maybe at maximum.
So they'll try it again. This time they're going to throw deep. Has his man, but again overthrown. We've seen that multiple times. Is overthrowing his receivers, and that falls incomplete.
Yeah,
4th down.
That's a tough one. He didn't overthrow him by much, maybe a yard and a half, but yeah, that, I mean, he had his man. He could have hit him, and that would have been huge. Right on the sideline, that would have put him around the 10-yard line.
So 4th down, and the Raiders will go for it with only 10 seconds to go. I guess they figure if the Hurricanes get the ball back, they won't have much time, and Coach Trombley wants to talk it over before they give up anything deep. And here, if you're the Hurricanes, what's your defensive plan? I mean, you can give up a first down, right?
Here's the thing. I mean, there is still a timeout for the Raiders. So
That's true.
You can't just play Hail Mary defense because they could hit one around the 20 and call it a timeout. I have no idea what their field goal kicker's range is. Unfortunately, we don't have that information. But you got to be careful about that. But you certainly are going to keep a couple safeties back deep. I mean, odds are, I mean, they have to throw the ball at least 8 yards downfield, obviously. They need a first down.
Right.
But, you want to play it safe here. Certainly not give up any big plays. And if you do let them get the first down, make them have the ball around the 30. I don't see a high school field goal kicker making one from there.
46 or 47 yards. And
then, and then at that point you can focus on a Hail Mary or throw to the end zone, something like that.
So the Hurricanes have their defensive assignment. Raiders still in the huddle.
I'll tell you, I think it wouldn't be a bad time to sneak a blitz. Hide a guy, a linebacker, sneak him in too, just to rush that quarterback's throw a little bit.
Right, because he's thinking the secondary is going to sit back and let him have the time to find someone. You sneak somebody, and it looks like they've got about 8 guys in the box. Maybe one guy backs off, 1 or 2 guys back off, but yeah, really, here they come, and they're going to force the throw. The catch is made and tackled inbounds.
See that?
Inside the 20. That's a first down, Matt Knoll.
That's exactly what they didn't want to do, give up a huge chunk play. Now, there is 2.7 seconds left. Again, and we don't know their field goal kicker's range, but this certainly could be within it. They get the ball all the way down,
at the 20.
To the 20.
So now it's decision time for the Raiders.
That was an interesting defensive call. It was almost an all-out blitz. The receiver was completely uncovered, and the safety had to chase him down. I mean, if that safety misses him, you're looking at 6 points for Rutland.
Yeah, they had 8 guys basically in the box, and 7 of them came in. And you're right, the safety made a heads-up play tackling the receiver, and luckily he kept him in bounds, because then at least, I mean, Rutland had to use a timeout. Not like it probably would have mattered with only 2.7 seconds or 3.4 it looks like they put on the clock, but that's where the Raiders will have a decision. And
I mean, it's either one thing or other. You try to kick the field goal, or you fire one in the end zone. I mean, that's it. So,
and it looks like the Raiders will be going for the end zone as Owen Perry. Postemski is with him. Perry is going to throw it, and he has the wide open man and dropped. Hunter Postemski had it. Not sure if he would have gotten into the end zone, but he would have had it, and it would have been close. So that's how the half ends, with the Raiders on the doorstep. They can't punch it in. So the Hurricanes lead it 14-7 at the half. We'll take a break and come back with some first half analysis. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Halftime here in White River Junction, Vermont, where the score is 14-7. The Hartford Hurricanes lead the Rutland Raiders. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. And Scott, slow start to that game, but in the second quarter, a point explosion, and the Hurricanes with the lead now. Good first half of your Hartford.
Yeah, it was outstanding. I mean, their defense hasn't allowed a single point so far. I mean, they're pitching a shutout.
Right,
I mean,
right.
The only score for Rutland was on that kick return, the 79-yarder. Their offense certainly got things moving. I mean, you even saw Cole Jasmine starting to throw the ball a little bit, which you don't see a lot of from the Hurricanes. And I believe he's 4 for 4, and Cole Shambo had a nice couple catches there in that last touchdown drive, and things are looking up for Hartford, especially considering they're getting the ball here.
Yeah, with that Hamilton and Jasmine, that switching back and forth, you got to be careful. Like I said, if you're Matt Trombley, you don't want to tip your hand, but clearly he's done it right and balanced it right. This Hartford team looks really good, and this Rutland team, they've struggled. What do they have to do to turn this around in the second quarter?
They got to get their offense going is what they got to do more than anything. They started to move the ball there in that last drive. They fell up short. I mean, it's a minute 10, I think they had to move the ball down the field, and, you know, the drive fell up just short. I think they got down to the 20-yard line.
Right.
But I think they need to mix it up. I mean, from what I've seen, Owen Perry's certainly capable of throwing the ball. The run game hasn't done anything. I mean, Hartford's defense is playing outstanding, credit to them, but I think they need to mix it up here a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more of Owen Perry throwing the football, as that run offense has done nothing against this rushing defense of the Hurricanes. So we'll have all that and more in the second half. We'll take a break and come back with some first half highlights after this on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Halftime here with the Hurricanes leading the Raiders 14-7. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. And those are the first half highlights. We'll come back with the second half kickoff after this. You're watching the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters two-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, where Bubba wants you to know we're having a lot of fun. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. La Valley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Welcome back, second half about to begin. Hurricanes will receive the second half kickoff after holding the Raiders there to end that half. What an exciting end of the half. And that kickoff is returned at the 10-yard line by the Hurricanes, and running on the sideline and cutting it back inside. Didn't quite go anywhere, but he tried. Cole Shambo, and he's tackled, and the Hurricanes will take over at about the 30-yard line. So we'll see if the Hurricanes can get anything going here, as they had a scoreless first quarter, both teams with a scoreless first quarter, and then all the points coming in that second quarter. So here we go, Hurricanes at the 29-yard line. And the handoff there, off to the right side. Burek takes the carry, and he'll go for 1-yard loss.
Not much room there for Burek on the sweep play.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Mascoma Savings Bank, mutually owned with no shareholders to please. If you want your local game, event, parade, or concert televised into YCN's over 300,000 households, contact us at info@ycnnow.com. So the Hurricanes on the first play go for minus 1 yard. And they'll come up here second down and 11. It looks like Hamilton, maybe he's back in. And Hamilton's going to throw the ball for the first time. He makes a nice pass, completed to Shambo, who is tackled immediately, but a nice 10-yard pass play.
Shambo's showing some serious receiving skills here. He's just a sophomore, too, so certainly good for their future.
And a 10-yard pickup brings up 3rd and 1. As I mentioned at halftime, Coach Trombley doesn't want to tip his hand, but when Kyle Hamilton comes in and throws a pass like that, now you really got the Raiders guessing. So 3rd and 1.
And not only that, I mean, that first drive was all Cole Jasmine, and it was all runs too. So, I mean, he's definitely mixing them up pretty nicely here. And, you know, that's going to keep this Rutland team off balance here.
So here's Jasmine under center on 3rd and short. That one goes to Jasmine. He cuts back, and he's got some room along the sidelines. He's got one man in a foot race down the left side, and he beats him. Jasmine's in for the touchdown.
That was Shambo, wasn't it?
For the touchdown, the Hurricanes.
Shambo, yes.
62 yards for the Hurricanes.
So a 62-yard touchdown run.
Having himself a day. Running, passing, or running and receiving.
So Cole Shambo with the touchdown run, and what a way to start the third quarter if you're the Hurricanes. 62 yards. And the extra point coming up from Peach. That one didn't quite get all of that one, but he got enough. We're not used to seeing that, but it's good.
That's all it takes.
So Cole Shambo with a 62-yard run. That was only about a minute 53 into the third quarter, and the extra point, 21-7. If you're the Raiders, you got to respond, I think, now.
I mean, that's the important of deferring the kickoff, and you get that scoring play at the end of the second half, and you come right out with the ball and put another 7 on the board. All of a sudden, it goes from 7-7 to 21-7. You know, Rutland had the ball for a minute 10 there to end the half, but clearly they just ran out of time. They didn't have enough time to do anything. So it's just well done by Hartford.
The YCN scoreboard sponsor is La Valley Building Supply, home improvement and construction from concept to completion. Our next YCN game features the Cougars of Kearsarge hosting the Hilltoppers of Somersworth. So the Hurricanes now kicking off
And
after the big touchdown.
Now you really have to see Rutland start to open up. I mean, like we mentioned, I mean, they've shown some ability to pass with Owen Perry, but, you know, they really haven't pushed it downfield as much as I think they should necessarily. And
here we go with a squib kick, and the Hurricanes tried getting it, but I think he knocked it out of bounds.
Yep. He had a shot at recovering that.
He did. So it wasn't really a traditional onside or a traditional squib. It was kind of an in-between, and it just kept hopping.
Well, it's a live ball. I mean, you can't be lackadaisical if you're Rutland. I mean, you got to get onto it and jump on the ball. So when it's bouncing around like that, I mean, if Hartford got to that, it doesn't matter how far down the ball is downfield. It's
still a Hurricane ball.
It would still be a Hurricane ball,
So the Raiders take over. Looks like it will be at their own 35. 10:07 to play. No time taken off the clock there. And here we go. Handoff up the middle to Stemski.
Good first down run. They didn't do a lot of run football, I mean, successfully in the first half.
They ran it a lot, just not successfully.
Correct.
But you mentioned the passing game. That last drive, obviously the drop pass, but the play before that was wide open, as we see Postemski here again, and a nice first down.
Yeah.
So I know Hartford's playing probably a different defense than we'll see, but they did have a couple of nice plays.
Yeah, the play down the sideline, he just overthrew his man by a yard and a half, and then, yeah, that little wheel route there, trying to get a touchdown with no time left, could have been caught.
And Postemski again, this one up the middle, maybe a couple of yards, and that'll bring up second down.
I mean, it seems like Hartford is being very aggressive at the line of scrimmage, even on that long play that Rutland did get there on the last drive of the first half when they got it down to the 20-yard line. I mean, they blitzed, I think, 8 guys, and they had 3 back, and luckily a safety made the tackle.
Right.
But, I mean, they're playing very aggressive at the line of scrimmage and trying to attack this Raiders team.
And Postemski with a big 5-yard gain there, nicely done, 3rd and 2, and he'll get it again. This time he's met by 3 Hurricane defenders. He'll be at the line of scrimmage, no gain. That'll bring up 4th down and 2.
And that's just that gang tackling again that we saw in the first half. I mean, this is a very active Hartford defense today. They're very excited and pumped up to win here on their senior night.
So now, a little bit of a decision here as it's 4th and 2, and it looks like the Raiders are going to punt it. Could we see a fake punt in this situation?
Yeah, this is a surprising punt if they actually do it.
And they do get it away. This one much better than the last punt, but it will be returnable. It's dropped at the 10-yard line. Hurricane ball carrier picks it up. He probably should have just jumped on it, but he picked it up. He got it back. They'll start deep in their own territory inside the 5. With 8:20 to play here in the third quarter, the Hurricanes lead the Raiders 21-7. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. 8:20 to play here in the third quarter. The Hurricanes take over after the punt by the Raiders, and basically the best situation if you're the Raiders there, besides getting the first down, punting it and having it deep in Hurricane territory.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, as creative as the Hurricanes have been, you're not going to get too creative down here inside your 5-yard line. I mean, that worked out perfectly. I mean, yeah, it was kind of a muff punt, but it was still a good kick, and you know,
he would have only gotten at about maybe the 10. Now instead they started at like the 5.
Exactly. So I mean, it started off as a field possession game. I think that's the type of football the Raiders want to play. So let's see if they can get back to that and make some plays here. But Hartford's just got a lot of momentum here on offense, and they're moving the ball. And, you know, 2 plays, they get a first down inside their own 5-yard line, and that's huge. Gives them some breathing room and some options.
Gives them some breathing room, some options, and keeps that clock moving. And now with a 2-touchdown lead, and we're approaching 7:30 to play here in the third quarter. If you are the Hurricanes, you just want to take 2, 3, 4, 5 more minutes off this clock on this drive, and if you score, great. But if not, the clock's your friend at this point.
And we know how they like to play. They like to run the ball and be kind of slow and methodical, use up a lot of that play clock. And, you know, when you're up, when you're leading the game, I mean, that type of style works to your advantage even more so. I mean, you want that game clock to run off as quick as you can.
So Jasmine there keeps it himself. He goes up the middle for about a yard, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 9. And here we see Jasmine coming over to the sidelines, getting the play call, coming back in, taking his time, really in no rush. For over 11 years, Bubba's Bar and Grill has been providing hungry patrons with high-quality food and friendly service with a mission of delivering a remarkable experience to every visitor. Bubba's reminds us we're having a lot of fun. Second down and 9, and the handoff there to the inside, and that's number 22, Cole Shambo on the carry. That'll bring up third down and maybe about 6 yards.
Giving Shambo a lot more looks than we've seen in the previous games for this team. You know, the first game we did, it was just all Zachary Burek almost.
Right.
I mean, he was the workhorse, and you can see why they want to give this kid the ball, though. I mean, he's been pretty electric on a few different plays today.
He had the big 19-yard touchdown reception and the 62-yard touchdown run, and plus another couple of nice pass receptions and runs mixed in there. He's been very elusive out of the backfield. Jasmine has Hamilton, it looks like, and that's a completion. So that'll bring up fourth down, though, as Hurricanes will punt it away after only taking a couple minutes off the clock.
Yeah, I mean, it was the completion there, but it was kind of a hopeless pass play. I mean, the route was run good 4 yards short of the sticks, and he was immediately met with 2 defenders. He didn't really have any room to break anything and fight for the first down yardage.
So the punt is away. It's kind of a short punt. See what type of bounce it gets. Not much of a bounce as it immediately kicks out of bounds, and the Raiders will take over at the Hurricane 35 with 5:14 to play. They trail 21-7. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Raiders have just taken over on the punt, and the pass is dropped, and that was Garrett Devine as he had some space all along the outside, but tried to run it up there before completing it. And 5:09 to play.
Big
in this third
opportunity
quarter.
here
Yeah.
for the Raiders. I mean, after the kind of bad punt, they're starting the ball with the ball at the 35-yard line. Big chance to get within a one-score game here.
Yeah, best field position they've started with all game, and here's you've got 4 downs every time if you need it, and that ball is overthrown and not really close to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like the 31, the Slade Postemski there, kind of stopped his route there. I don't know if there was some miscommunication with his QB, and Owen Perry was thrown to a spot, and nobody was home.
So that'll bring up third down and 10. The entire Raider team looking at the sideline, trying to get the play, and they really need 6 yards here because you can't come up with a 4th and 10. Really like to get at least half of them back, and hits the receiver in the numbers. That's number 18, Hendrickson, and he drops it. Good defensive coverage by the Hurricanes. That'll bring up 4th down.
Well, this Hurricanes defense continues to be stingy here. I mean, it is 4th and 10, but they get the ball at the 35. I think they're probably going to go for it here.
Yeah, I was actually surprised, like you said, that they didn't go for it last time.
Right.
It was 4th and 2 at the 48-yard line.
That's actually a better scenario than this particular scenario, but
Right.
this is, I mean, there's no reason not to go for it, I think, here.
So 4th and 10. They got a bunch formation on the right side. And Perry is going to drop back. He's got some room to run, but he's dragged down from behind, and the Hurricanes bring him down, and that's where they will take over. Turnover on downs.
And this defense continues to pitch a shutout.
Wow, this defense really has stepped up, and as we mentioned, the only time they got close to giving up a score was in that second quarter, and they were kind of playing a little bit of a lackadaisical secondary. You know, they weren't really playing that hard, and then they came up with the big plays at the end. But this Hurricane team right now, they have the ball at their own 29.
They seem hungry tonight.
If they put another touchdown on the board here, watch out.
Yep.
But last time they got the ball deep in their own territory, they didn't really do much, so we'll see if they can do anything here. And the ball carrier comes through the pile and breaks it for a big gainer and a first down Hurricane.
Well, that's a good start right there. I can tell you that. It looks like it was Zachary Burek breaking tackles down the sideline.
Kind of went into that pile, and a couple seconds later he came out, and it's a big gain, first down across the 50-yard line to the 44 of the Raiders.
I actually lost sight of him at one point. It looked like he was completely tied up, and then all of a sudden he's just the one guy that came out of the pile and breaks free. And fortunately for Rutland, The defender was able to force him out of bounds a good 20 yards downfield.
But it brings up another first down for the Hurricanes. Jasmine in there now. He's under center. And the handoff again, breaking free after looks like being wrapped up. The ball carrier that time, Shambo again, and he comes out of the pile with a nice 5-yard gain.
Yeah, his style is certainly different than Beer. That was that Shambo? Was there?
Might have been, well, was it Burek again? Burek is off the... No, it's 26
yeah,
over here with an injury.
I thought I saw 26 come off the field.
Well,
I don't see a 26 on the roster, unfortunately.
So, see if we can get that straightened out. But in the meantime, that one is back to Burek, and he is steamroll after getting back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a couple yards. But if you are the Hurricanes, you've got third down and about 7. Clock moving inside 4 minutes. Once again, and with the 2 scores, I think it's 4-down territory here if you're Coach Trombley.
I mean, you're obviously 3-4 on the year. I mean, there's no sense to not be aggressive. You might as well go for it and try to do the kill shot here on Rutland.
Unless they can pick it up here first. Cole Jasmine in the shotgun. He's looking. He's got his man and caught nicely by number 25, Burek, and he hits a defender, falls forward.
So aggressive there. He tries to run through people, not around them, unlike his counterpart, Cole Shambo.
Right.
And they're very different running backs, both very effective in their own way, and that is a huge play. And that's the play Cole Jasmine's been hitting today. I mean, he kind of does a little bit of a rollout to his non-throwing side.
Right.
Kind of throws across his body, and he's finding guys with, shallow crosses just getting open, getting space, and they're able to create a lot of yards after catch.
Stay tuned at the end of our telecast for the HR Clough Kearsarge Heating Turning Up the Heat player of the game. We will choose the team member that had the greatest impact on today's game. Jasmine rolling out. He's got a man wide open, and touchdown, number 5, Alex Bushway. 19-yard touchdown reception for Alex Bushway, and the Hurricanes back in the end zone.
This is something we just haven't seen much of this year from the Hurricanes. I mean, they're sort of opening up their offense here, and like we said, why not? It's the last game of the regular season here, and sending the seniors off having some fun, but their passing game's been very effective. I mean, there's been almost nothing that's hit the ground.
No, we have not seen this before. We've done a few games here, and even in years past, they don't run the ball, or they don't pass the ball that often. They keep it on the ground, and tonight they're having some success through the air. The extra point is up and good, and that extends the Hurricane lead to 21. They lead it 28-7. 2:41 to play here in quarter number 3. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, Hurricanes with another touchdown on the board, and they are now up 28-7. They have scored 3 straight touchdowns after being tied at 7 apiece, and 2:41. If you are the Raiders, Scott, it kind of seems that they've got to start scoring some touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's not enough time for them to come back. I mean, they're certainly a great team. I mean, we kind of mentioned in the opening, they score a lot of points. They've been fairly consistent, 5-2, and Hartford's not shown that consistency this year. It's a very surprising 28-7 score right now. But, I mean, credit the Hurricanes. I mean, they're playing unbelievable today. And their defense is shutting down a very good offense.
Today's game is being brought to you in part by Ramontos in Claremont. Always fresh, always delicious. In addition to airing on our 3 TV stations, all YCN games are posted at ycnnow.com. And the throw there from Perry, completed to number 31, and that is Slade Postemski. Maybe a 4-yard pickup.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent first down play, but unfortunately the throw was just a little offline, and Postemski had to go down to his knee to make the catch. Dead ball once the ball handler's knee hits the ground.
We'll bring up second down, and that one is going to be incomplete, but a flag comes flying in.
It might have been a hand wrapped around his back there and kind of pulled the receiver away. He certainly reached in with his left arm and knocked it away. Tough from our angle to see where his right hand was and what it was doing, but it looks like probably a pass interference, I would imagine here.
And that is the call, pass interference against the Hurricanes, and very few penalties against the Hurricanes tonight, and that might be the first. I'm not sure if they've had one procedure penalty or something like that, but they have not committed too many defensive penalties, and that'll be a first down at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, this has been the cleanest game that I've done this year. I haven't seen a single false start yet here. I'm going to knock on some wood, but...
And that pass is overthrown again, a little overthrown to Malik Hendrickson.
Yeah, false starts have been a bit of a problem here in high school football this year from the games we've done anyways. We've seen a lot of them and multiple ones in a row. But a very clean football game tonight all around.
So Rutland trailing 28-7 as we approach 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. They'd really like to put one on the board if they could in this quarter. And the RPO run-pass option goes to Postemski, and nobody fooled there. And maybe to the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up third down and 9.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've seen a couple pass attempts here for Rutland. They just haven't been too successful this drive. I mean, it's tough sledding here against this Hartford defense.
And here we go with third and long, rolling out to his left and overthrown, and right there, even if he caught it, the ball receiver would have been tackled as Bushway is there on the pass breakup. And I've got to imagine, again, a fourth down, going to go for it. Anytime you're probably over the 50, it's four down territory, I would imagine.
A three-score game here as the third quarter winds down. You got, 13 minutes, 31 seconds left in this football game. You got to take chances here at this point.
So 1:31 to play.
I mean, as long as it's 4th and 10 or less, anytime you're at the 50 or closer, you go for it.
So here's the pass, and it is complete down the seam, and a first down. Nice pass, and the reception. Del Bianco, I believe, with the catch, and the first down.
Yeah, that was a nice soft touch there by Owen Perry. Just kind of laid it right into Del Bianco's hands, and he made a nice catch. He's a big kid there, Del Bianco. Senior.
So see what they do here. The pitch to Postemski going to the left side, but once again, penetration by the Hurricane defense.
I was expecting a big game here for Postemski, but there's just no holes, no place for him to run.
That defensive line, we talked about it, where if they are healthy and all their number ones are out there, this Hurricane team, and that's the thing, they get into the playoffs here with a win tonight. If they do hold on and go 4-4, they could surprise some teams going on the road. Tipped, and that's up in the air, and it's dropped by the receiver, and then almost caught, but Bushway can't quite get to it.
I mean, that's kind of the type of mistakes that happen when you're down 21 points. You're kind of trying to force the ball into a hole that wasn't there. The guy was double covered. He had no chance there, and fortunately hit the ground. And again, Hartford, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is a team that's been there before. Obviously, there's a lot of young kids, but even a lot of them were on the bench last year, and that pass incomplete.
And that's a flag coming up here. Bumped the receiver, and they're going to call the penalty.
But, yeah, I mean, Hartford, absolutely. I would be terrified of facing them in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, they're certainly a huge upset potential team. I mean, they could really throw a wrench in the bracket.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they're not your. If they do go on to win here, they're not your typical 500 team. They've got solid coaching. They've got half a dozen seniors, and as you mentioned, a lot of these guys coming up, even though they're younger, they've been on the bench before. And the fact that one of their big losses to Middlebury, they had an injury. Burek was out, so. Yeah, this team is one of those teams that they sneak in or get a 6th seed, whatever. They could go on the road and pull the upset.
I mean, here it is, the last game of the year. They're probably playing their best game of the year. I mean, Rutland's a very good team, 5-2. I mean, they're probably locked in around the 4 seed, I think, from what I saw looking at the bracket. And they're just putting it to them so far. If Hartford, of course, can finish the deal, I wouldn't rule out Rutland yet, though.
So they say 3rd and 2 after the pass interference. So that's what it's going to be. 3rd and 2. 42 seconds to go, dropping back to pass. The ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage and then falls incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th down and 2 for the Raiders.
And more obvious territory to go for it here. I mean, it's from here on out, it's every time past midfield.
The refs are discussing something. I thought it would have been an automatic first down on the pass interference by the end zone, but we did see that last time.
Just about to bring that up. We've seen it earlier this year where there's been a pass interference call where a first down was not given. So I don't know if there's different levels of pass interference in the high school game, and we saw one earlier tonight where it was a 15-yard penalty, and which led to a first down.
Right.
So
the refs just wanted to talk about the clock, I believe, because it's still showing 4th down. 4th and 2, 38 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Big play right here for the Raiders. Get that first down and try and get it into the end zone. So Perry is in the shotgun. He'll keep it himself. Meets one defender, and he's driven backwards. I don't think he got it.
Yeah, I think they stood him up, and this Hurricane team is just pumped up. You can see the excitement jumping around. And this defense comes through again for the Hurricanes.
Dominating
flawless performance so far.
Really, that's the second time they've really been tested. Once right before the half, and then right here. And they turn it over on downs, and the Hurricanes will take over. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. And a turnover on downs. The Hurricanes take the ball, and they run it off to the right side. A flag comes in from the far side.
Yeah, I had to open my mouth about flags, and we had a couple in the last drive, and now we got one here. I tried to knock on wood, but I think I jinxed it a little
Still
bit.
haven't had a false start, though.
That is true.
So that's going to be a holding against the Hurricanes, and that'll bring them back after that run off the right side. Today's game is being brought to you in part by Echo Communications. Call them for all your printing needs. Our YCN game next week features the Cougars of Kearsarge hosting the Hilltoppers of Somersworth, always premiering Sundays at noon.
I mean, we're at the point here with a 21-point lead here where we're probably going to see the Hurricanes really just kind of try to slow things down, run the ball. And that hold play, it's obviously not something they wanted to do, but it's only a 2-yard penalty because of where they got the ball, so it's not that big of a deal, and, just kill clock. Get as long as a drive as you can here.
Don't think they actually have to call a play here. The clock looks like it's about a second less than the play clock.
And they don't seem like they're looking like they're about to snap it anytime soon either.
And that is going to end the quarter. Cole Jasmine watches the seconds tick off after 3 quarters of play here in White River Junction, Vermont. The Hurricanes of Hartford lead the Raiders of Rutland 28-7. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. You're watching the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters 2-time award-winning YCN Game of the Week. YCN Game of the Week is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill on Newberry Harbor, where Bubba wants you to know we're having a lot of fun. Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer and mailer located in New London, New Hampshire. Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. MJ Harrington and Company, jewelers and designers since 1948. And Lake Sunapee Region VNA and Hospice, providing independence for patients and peace of mind for families. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating, your local energy specialist. La Valley Building Supply, 10 retail lumber yards serving New England for over 55 years. Ramontos in Claremont, always fresh, always delicious. Mascoma Savings Bank, with no shareholders to please, they are committed to remaining independent and to reinvesting profits in our community. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week, just before the fourth quarter here. We scored 28-7, and Scott, we had some scholarships given out. There's an organization that go around the country, rivalry games, that give scholarships to each, a senior on each team with the highest GPA, and is sponsored by the Marines, who won it this year for these teams.
Yeah, first of all, I mean, what an outstanding program. And for Hartford, congratulations to Dakota Chapman.
As we see the big pass play connection on the sideline, Jacob Dueno from Cole Jasmine opening the fourth quarter.
Yeah, as I was saying, Dakota Chapman, the senior offensive and defensive lineman for Hartford. Congratulations to him. And then Rutland also gets a player, Hunter Postemski, their running back, defensive back. Congratulations, gentlemen, and best of luck to you in the future.
So they do go around to about 77 games throughout the year. They were in New York last week. They've got a game up in Maine next week. So they try and do this, and they have a chin-up challenge at each school during the week. And as this one is Hamilton carrying the ball, he's knocked for maybe no gain. Looks like he got back to the line of scrimmage, so we'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, that program they mentioned was coast to coast, and they do a lot of traveling to give these awards away, and I'm sure these students receiving these scholarships are very thankful.
So that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Clock moving, and once again, the Hurricanes, all they really need to do is run this clock out. If they can keep this ball for 2 or 3 more minutes, then it's really going to get tough for the Rutland Raiders to come back. Jasmine under center, and handoff. Nice spin move, but back into some more trouble is Shambo, and he's tackled. Big flags coming out after the play was over. 2 of them fly.
Yeah, 2 refs had this one. I think it probably is going to be an unnecessary roughness call, I would assume.
And I think one of the players is going to be thrown off.
Yeah,
one of the refs is,
Mike.
Yep, one of the refs is pointing to the sideline as a motion of he's going to be thrown off, ejected. And now he's going back to pick up the flag. So it is a personal foul on the Raiders.
In Rutland's frustration's just setting in now. They're not used to taking a beating like this. I mean, I think they probably expected to come in and win here. I'll be honest, I expected them to come in and probably win.
Or at least play better than this.
I would have said they were the favorites coming in. I think that's fair to say. And yeah, they're clearly frustration setting in, and now they're making some mental mistakes here. And the game's not out of reach by any means. It's
no.
3 scores, but still the entire fourth quarter left. It's not a good time to give them first downs like that.
And especially with the fact that they can keep the clock moving and keep the chains moving as they've shown. 1st down and 10 from the 44-yard line of the Raiders. Jasmine staying in. He's under center. And this handoff to 22, Cole Shambo with a spin move, and he's going to go backwards for a couple of yards. Maybe 2.
Yeah, Brady Kanosh, nice job wrapping up Shambo there. They haven't been able to wrap him up too well so far, so I guess you got to compliment somebody who does.
This game is being brought to you by Top Stitch Embroidery, the best for your team, and so much more. Top Stitch works with businesses and schools, marketing with custom t-shirts and embroidery for more than 20 years. So 2nd down and 12. Clock moving as we approach 10 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. And Jasmine keeps it himself. And they're going to say he's going to go nowhere, and they'll bring up 3rd down and maybe 11 and a half. Not quite back to the 12. So 3rd down, but if you're the Hurricanes, the good thing is you keep the ball on the ground and keep the clock moving.
That's right. I mean, this is penalties help, but it's been a successful drive. I mean, they're all the way up to the close to the 46-yard line here. I mean, quite frankly, if they don't get many yards here, I would punt this away.
Right.
This is not 4-down territory for me. Pin the Raiders back and make them drive the whole length of the field to score. They've had trouble moving the football. Let them chew up their own clock.
So Jasmine in the shotgun, and he is going to maybe air it out, but he's trying to avoid some tackles. He's going to run to the left side, and penalty flag flies out of bounds, and few-yard gain. With a flag coming in from the far side. It'll be interesting to see what the call is here.
Yeah, this could go either way. It's sort of close to the line of scrimmage, but more at the linebacker level. It could be a holding on the defense. It could be a holding on the offense. I could see either way here.
And it looks like Jasmine got inside the 40, but he's still short of the 1st down marker.
Certainly a big call.
After some discussion, the ref here will call blow to the head on the offense. And they're going to take the penalty.
Which I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know if they would have gone for it on 4th and 8. Like I said, I think it would make more sense to punt the ball away and try to pin them within the 10 and make them go the entire length of the field. There's only 9 minutes left in a 3-score game, so.
But
now
got a chance for a first down.
Well, not only do you got a chance for a first down, but the Hurricanes say they do call a run play. It's just another 30 plus seconds they can run off the clock.
So Jasmine in the shotgun. They are going to keep it on the ground. Ball is on the ground, but it goes right back to Jasmine. Luckily, they kind of muffed the handoff between him and Shambo. And it will be 4th down now, and clock moving. 30 seconds on the play clock, so they can really wind this thing down to about 8:20 before they punt it away.
Yeah, they're not going to snap this for, until there's 1 second left. They're going to run every tick off that they can.
So the return man for the Raiders back at the 35-yard line. That's actually where the first down is, where they need to gain, because it is 4th and a mile. The scoreboard says 27. And the kick is away. Picked up at the 37-yard line and returned by number 81, and that's Kyle Del Bianco. He'll get to about midfield, and that's where the Raiders will take over. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. YCN Game of the Week. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby. Raiders take over at the 50-yard line. Trying to get something going as the running back cuts it to the outside. Throwing a stiff arm is number 12, Brady Kenosh.
Kind of fortunate there. I thought they might get a flag. That second hit was 3 yards out of bounds, I thought. Worth noting, on that kickoff there, we didn't catch it, but Cole Shambo came limping off the field, and he's on the sideline in pain. It looks like he did something to an ankle, maybe.
And the run up the middle. The ball is loose. I don't know if he was already down or what, the refs are going to say, but they are going to say it is Rutland football, and that'll be no gain, 2nd down and 10. Yeah, Shambo is still in pain here on the sideline. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate, but an ankle or knee or something. So hopefully he's okay. Yeah, probably won't see him the rest of this game.
Yeah, I would doubt it, especially with the score the way it is, and you got to get him healthy for the playoffs. Hopefully he is available when they do play.
As we see the quarterback keeper Kenosh now in the game as quarterback, and he's been able to get a couple nice runs, and there is another first down for the Raiders. They're making something happen this drive.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Brady Kenosh throw yet, but he sure is a quick, elusive kid. Providing a bit of a spark here, and I think that's a big reason why they're moving the ball.
Kenosh is not going to go anywhere that time, maybe a yard, and that'll bring up 2nd down, but all these run plays, obviously the clock continues to move. We're approaching 7 minutes. You're going to get 3 scores. You're going to start picking up some chunk plays. So we'll see if they can do that on this 2nd down and 10. Yeah, we're under 7 minutes, and this play clock down to about 15 now. So they've taken a lot of time, and then pass over the middle to the wide open receiver, number 18 with the touchdown, Malik Hendrickson. And that's the touchdown pass that they were looking for.
Yeah, it's the first time this offense has really broken through. I mean, those are the first points the offense has actually put up on the day, and, perfect pass. Nicely designed play, and 6:45, 2-score game now. Rutland's not out of this yet.
So the extra point coming up here, and looking to get this to a 14-point game. It is up, and it is good. So 28-14 on the touchdown pass from Kenosh to Hendrickson, cutting the deficit to 14 with 6:45 to play in the 4th quarter. We'll take a break. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back, YCN Game of the Week. Final 6:45 of regulation here. The Raiders have scored to cut the deficit to 14, and Hartford lining up as anticipating the onside kick possibly. All 10 of the 11 men up from the 45 and the 50-yard line. See if the Raiders do kick it deep. Do have a lot of time, so see what they do here. And it is the onside kick. Doesn't quite go the 10 yards, and a risky play there by the Hurricane.
Yeah, it was
up
unnecessary. I mean, you don't go to attack it if it doesn't go 10 yards, but he did anyway and made the play, so good for him, I guess.
Yeah, good for him that he came up with it, because if he touches it,
you're gonna be in trouble if you don't come up with that one.
You usually kind of stand at the 50 and you don't move unless the ball comes to you.
You surprised there at all with an onside kick? Still 6:45 left, and your defense just made a nice stop.
Well, right, I am a little surprised because you did make that nice stop, and obviously it was aided by the penalty that backed the Hurricanes back up.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, it was a nice stop, and now you give the Hurricanes good field position at the 47-yard line. And
I mean, you can't afford to give up any points here. It's a 3-score game again, so this defense really has to stifle them. I mean, they got to have a 3-and-out right here, and it's a good start.
Yeah, 2nd down and 10, and you're right. You can't afford to give up points. You can barely afford to even give up a first down.
It's going to kill too much clock.
That's another 3 minutes off the clock right there. And on that 1st down and 10 run play, they got the ball back with about 6:45 to go, and they're going to run a 2nd down play. It's not even going to be 6 minutes left on the clock. So, obviously, Hurricanes taking their time here on this one with the 2-touchdown lead. No need to hurry. Jasmine under center. Shambo is back out there. He gets the pitch here off the left side. He slips and falls, but a penalty flag flies from the far side.
I mean, I'm a little surprised to see Shambo back out there. He was rolling around in pain, and on the last kickoff there, which turned out to be an onside kick, they tried to send Shambo out there, and he was limping around on the field, and they had to pull him off for Burek. So, I don't know if it's a great idea. I mean, part of the reason he probably slipped there is his ankle's giving out on him. He doesn't have the strength to kind of dig in, so a little surprised.
And there's the holding is going to go against the Hurricanes, but they are going to decline the penalty because it was such a negative play, and it'll bring up 3rd down 11.
Well, not only that, if they do accept it, it's 2nd down again, and that's a whole other play that they can run more clock off. So smart play declining it there.
And all you got to do is make one more stop here, and then you're going to see the Hurricanes punting the ball. So we've got 3rd down and long, and Hamilton fakes the pitch, turns around, nobody's there, and he is sacked.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to give that to the up back there, a little draw play, and he must have misread it and thought he was pitching it. But not a good time for that kind of miscommunication. And 5 minutes probably when Rutland gets the ball back. I mean, there's still time. They're hanging in there.
So we'll keep it right here during the timeout. 5:23 to play, and a big negative possession here. Hurricanes are going to be punting from their own 46-yard line. And maybe this Rutland offense has found a spark. As we saw last drive, Brady Kanosh making a couple nice run plays, and then the big touchdown pass as we take a look to number 18, Malik Hendrickson. Maybe that's the wrinkle that they needed to get this offense going.
I mean, Owen Perry, the senior quarterback who's led him to a 5-2 record, go figure, you bring in the junior, Brady Kanosh, and he sparks him. The kid certainly got speed. He was pretty elusive. I think that probably got the defense on their heels a little bit, and then there they go, and he gets a wide open man downfield, and Kanosh laid it on him, and they get a big touchdown. So, yeah, I mean, this could be interesting.
So the Hurricanes will be punting it away. Their punter stands at the 35-yard line. The return man at his own 25. And the punt is away, just out of the way. And it takes a straight-up bounce, and then a little bit of a nice Hurricane bounce. And the Hurricanes will down to Alex Bushway there at the 22-yard line with 5:14 to play. Raiders take over. You're watching the YCN Game of the Week. So here we go, 4th quarter, 5:14 to play. Raiders down by 2, down by 2 scores, and they're looking to get something going. The handoff along the right side, Brady Kanosh.
Yeah, and there's his speed again. He just fakes the handoff inside and kicks it around the outside and just kind of outrace the defenders of the corner and picks up a first down. Looks like a 11 or 12-yard gain there.
Yeah, ball comes loose, but it's out of bounds, so he gets the first down, no problem. It's at the 35-yard line, and they're going to hurry back to the line.
One thing we know about this offense is they like to move the ball quickly. I mean, they were in hurry up even when they didn't need to be. So, beautiful throw, too.
And dropping the football, they're going to say he was down, as it was a nice completion. And as we saw, that was Owen Perry coming back in and making the nice throw and the catch. So a first down at the 46.
Taking a page out of Hartford's playbook here with the alternating quarterbacks. They saw it working for them, and that clearly I thought was a catch. He took a couple steps and clearly was down.
And immediately drilled there. Sambo comes in untouched.
Poor Postemski had no chance on that play.
Wow. Nothing to do there except just go down. And that is a 5-yard loss, and that'll bring up second down and long. 4:30 to play here. Rutland's got to keep the ball moving. And nowhere, ball is loose. Hurricanes jump on it. They say they have it, and it is Hurricane football.
That might have just been the nail in the coffin right there. It was a kind of a bizarre play. I mean, they did have receivers running routes, but the quarterback looked like it was going to pull down and try to run, and it seemed like it was kind of a delayed run, and the pass blitz was already in the backfield by the time he tried to do the draw, and he just got lit up by two defenders at once and lost the football.
So the Hurricanes take over. They've got the ball at the Rutland 46-yard line. What a turn of events there. Looked like Rutland might have been moving the ball,
they strung
moving
together
the
a couple
chains.
nice plays in a row, and then two huge negative plays in a row where guys just get lit up in the backfield. It's a tough break.
4:23 to play. Jasmine under center. Gonna keep it on the ground, and nice hole there. Zachary Burek fights forward.
That's a good first down run there, and a huge opportunity for the Hurricanes to chew up a ton of clock.
Yeah, now comes a big second down and basically 3 yards, maybe 2 or 3 yards, and clock moving inside 4 minutes. You get another first down, and that's going to take 2 or 3 more minutes off the clock. And you know, if you're Rutland, you're going to have to start thinking about using a timeout and getting a stop.
Yeah, once you get, I would say probably under 3 minutes, I would start burning those timeouts.
And it all depends on how much yardage to go, because right now second and short. Maybe if you back them up, maybe you use one here. Jasmine under center, 3 running backs, and he gives it to Burek, who goes forward and plows through the line of scrimmage. A first down and then a late flag coming. That's probably going to be against the Raiders.
I believe that's going to be another unnecessary roughness call based on how the flag was thrown.
So
it looked like maybe somebody dove on the pile a little late.
So that'll be a first down on the play.
Well, we're now looking at a situation not only where they can continue to chew off more clock, but even if they do stop them, I mean, they're going to be, after the penalty yardage is marked off.
Yeah, it was a face mask against the Raiders.
They're going to possibly be in field goal range here, too,
right,
which would make it a 3-score game. So either way, I mean, this is not good for the Raiders.
Only a 5-yard face mask, and you had already given up the first down on the run. So
yeah, I
guess if you're looking to find something positive, that's what it is. I know.
It's a weak positive,
but it's there.
So they got the ball on the 21, though. I mean, they're a first down away from at least putting 3 up, and even if they get a first down, the game's probably over at this point.
Well, you're already seeing Cole Jasmine kind of stand there at the line of scrimmage, looking at the play clock, looking at the game clock. We're approaching 3 minutes to play, and the handoff there. Burek gets the first run, maybe 5 yards, but there's a penalty flag and probably a holding.
Yeah, that was thrown by the back judge. I mean, that's almost a hold every time when he throws it, and it is signaled a hold.
And that's not what they needed when they're trying to move the ball and run clock. You definitely don't need something that stops the clock.
That is absolutely correct.
So 3:02 to play. Rutland trailing 28-14, trying to show some life here and get a stop and maybe get a score as they do move the ball quickly, but it's really been all Hartford today basically from the beginning of this one. Going up 7-0, and then the 79-yard kickoff return tied it up at 7, and then 3 straight scores for the Hurricanes. Go up 28-7 before finally getting on the board offensively.
To me, the big surprise here today was just Hartford's ability to stop this potent Raider offense. I mean, they got 14 points on the board, but one, as you mentioned, was the kick return. Really, they've only had the one successful touchdown drive. A lot of big plays by this defense, just lighting people up in the backfield. They've been very aggressive, and now, the offense certainly came through too. They got hot after a slow start. Very well-rounded game for Hartford.
And that ball carrier was Shea Bean. So he's number 36 is his uniform number, it looks like. Or his uniform number is 26, but in the program he's listed as 36. And the PA announcer mentioned it.
You mentioned that, I do think I recall that coming up at one point in the first game that we did for this team.
So we're inside 2 minutes now in a second down and long, but not going to matter. You're going to keep it on the ground no matter what if you are the Hurricanes. Really no need to do anything crazy, and that one is handed off to Burek, and he will gain a few yards, but more importantly, keeps the clock moving.
It's going to be 3rd down and 16 for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, they're not electing to take a timeout here.
Yeah, which seems a little odd. I mean, I know you're down 2 scores. I know it's not a lot of time, but you get 1 touchdown, then you get the onside kick. I mean, I don't know, maybe they have timeouts left, I believe.
They have 2 timeouts.
So I would have thought you would use one.
So it's 3rd down here. They're probably going to run the ball again, I would imagine, and force them to use a timeout. But either way, they're going to get the ball back under a minute now with just 1 timeout. So it's looking dire.
And the handoff to Hamilton. He hits the line of scrimmage and maybe gets a yard. Ball spotted at the 25-yard line. And finally, they will take a timeout. So 56.7 seconds to go. We'll keep it right here.
So we're under a minute now. I mean,
but you could have saved 25 seconds.
Yeah, it wasn't. I disagree with the timeout usage there. Absolutely. Maybe they feel good about having one in their back pocket just in case they have a sack or a play trap around midfield somewhere.
Right.
But the bottom line is, I mean, they got to score quick and get an onside kick. That's the only option they have at this point. And, hopefully there's enough time left for them to throw a Hail Mary or something to the end zone or some miraculous play. But Hurricanes certainly in the driver's seat here. And, if I'm the Hurricanes, I'm playing a very soft defense here. Keeping my guys on the sideline and keeping my safeties deep.
Right.
Forcing them to throw the ball in the middle of the field, or if they want to run the ball, have at it. Let them run the ball 20 yards here. It's only going to hurt them. I mean, they need to stop the clock and get out of bounds. Because, I mean, I don't think they use their timeouts well enough to do anything other than that.
So here we go, 4th down. You've got Shambo deep as maybe the man lined up to punt the ball.
Yeah, you got to try to just kick it toward the pylon there and pin him as deep as possible.
Pooch it in there. And he gets it up, but it's going to be out of bounds. I don't know how many yards he got on that one. The ref on the sideline here is walking it up the field.
I don't think he got 10 yards there.
The ball was on the 24, and he got it to the 20. So it does break the record for the shortest punt tonight.
Of the day,
yes. It was close, 5.5, and this one was 4.
5.5.
It was a net of 4, so timeout on the field as they change possession.
I mean, punting is the right call there. I don't disagree with punting at all. It's just, it certainly didn't work out for him.
That's the one where you want one of those little high ones that don't go very far, but they go up in the air, not sideways up. Just
make them fair catch it or something. Even if you don't kick it deep, make them fair catch it around the 15.
And the Raiders come out throwing as expected.
Did he not go out of bounds?
He didn't at first, but I believe he was pushed out of bounds, unless they're stopping the clock only because, no, he did not go out of bounds. He stopped the clock to reset the chains.
But now, yeah, he did not go out of bounds. That's a terrible play there. You got to get out of bounds. You're right on the sideline.
And that one will stop the clock as the ball is overthrown. Watch our Yankee Chronicle every week on this station at 8 p.m. on Saturdays. If you miss any of our local programs on our 3 YCN network stations, you can always watch the shows and games anytime on our website at ycnnow.com. 40.9 seconds to go. This one is all but over. The Raiders second down and 10, and hit immediately in the backfield for the sack. Number 71,
Andrew Luke,
the senior.
Unfortunately, it looks like he came up a little injured there, but he came through there unscathed and just destroyed his QB. Hopefully his injury is not too serious. He might be holding his knee.
So injury on the field will step aside. YCN Game of the Week. All right, so here we go. First down and 10. Excuse me, third down after the penalty, or the sack, rather, third down and long. And nice diving catch. Did he come up with it?
I think he did.
No. The ref said just incomplete. That was a nice throw, a nice catch, almost a nice catch. But
I wonder if we're going to get a booth review on that one. That was
sure.
close.
It was close. On the far side of the field, we didn't have an angle on it. They're saying they don't have an angle. So no booth review there. 19 seconds left. And now it's fourth down and long.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible for us to see the ball there. It looked like he caught it clean, and certainly it looked like most of his body came down in bounds, but what are you going to do?
So that play is incomplete.
And that is going to do it.
Yeah, Garrett Devine couldn't come up with that, and that is going to do it. The Raiders turn it over on downs, and the Hurricanes take over with 14 seconds to go. They lead it 28-14. That's going to do it, and the Hurricanes will get the win, evening their record to 4-4.
It's not exactly a senior send-off because I believe they're going to be playing some playoff games now, the Hurricanes, but certainly these seniors' last game here at home. And what a way to finish.
So 28-14 will be the final score. Hurricanes will need to have one kneel down here. And don't forget, we'll be coming back with the HR Club. Kearsarge Heating turning up the heat, player of the game after this one concludes. And one kneel down by Cole Jasmine, and this one is going to end with the Hurricanes winning here on senior night 28-14 over the Rutland Raiders. The Hurricanes improved to 4-4. The Raiders fall to 5-3 to end the season. We'll take a break, come back with a wrap-up after this on the YCN Game of the Week. Welcome back. Final score here, 28-14. The Hurricanes defeat the Raiders of Rutland. Jeremy Stout, Scott Quimby, post-game wrap-up. First, let's get to our player of the game, the HR Clough. Kearsarge Heating turning up the heat, player of the game. Who you got?
Kind of a surprise for me. The sophomore, Cole Shambo. He had a 62-yard reception. He had another big reception right before that.
Yep.
He had I think it was a 19-yard run today. Huge tackle. We did see him leave at one point. It looked like he had a pretty bad ankle injury. He was rolling around the sideline in pain, but he found his way back out there. Tough kid, and I got to give it to him. I mean, the only other option that we would have would be the entire Hartford defense, because they all played phenomenal today, and it was a fantastic win.
And so congratulations to Cole Shambo. And let's get to that Hartford defense. I mean, right from the get-go, they were shutting down this running game. The Rutland Raiders, I don't know if they expected to run into such a good defensive line. They were down early. They never got back in, even though it was 7-7.
We talked about the Raiders' offense early. I mean, they scored 30 points all but once, I think, this season coming into today, and their offense only put up one score today. I mean, they held them to one score. That first touchdown was obviously the kick return. So, unbelievable job by Hartford Hurricanes defense, and it started with the defensive line stopping the run and getting them into holes, third and longs, forcing them to pass, which unfortunately didn't quite work out. Some open guys that were maybe missed and some drops, but a beautiful game plan by Hartford.
So if you are the Hurricanes, you finish at 4-4, you're going to the playoffs. We talked about it. This is a team that could pose a threat to somebody down the road next week.
I mean, with their history, I mean, obviously they've got a couple Vermont state championships. a successful school historically, and coming off a big win against a very good team like this,
Right.
A team that I believe is locked in as the 4 seed in the playoffs, I wouldn't want to face this team.
And as you mentioned during the broadcast, they are playing their best football right now. If Shambo's healthy,
this is their best game of the year.
right?
No doubt.
No question about that. Especially the best game we've seen here. So it should be an interesting road for both these teams, Rutland and for Hartford. Thanks for watching the YCN Game of the Week. For Scott Quimby, I'm Jeremy Stout. Have a great night.